Hello and welcome to the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast with your host, Kimberly Dunn of Idlewild Horsemanship and Mindset Coaching. This podcast is here to bring you the very best in tips, tricks, and advice to help you better understand yourself, your mindset, and your horse, because your horsemanship starts with you. Let's go. Okay, hello. Welcome to the Horsemanship and Mindset podcast. This is the third time I've tried to record this. I don't know what's happening. My computer is having a bit of a day today. Is it because of the, as I record this, it's the new moon eclipse and we're stepping into the year of the horse? I don't know. But I would like to not have to record this again. So here we go. Let's try for the third time. Third time lucky. I am hotspotting off my phone and not using my own Wi-Fi in the hope that this will just work. So yeah, let's buckle up. So today's episode. I'm loving that I'm having to do this for the third time. Okay, so in today's episode, we are looking at how I rebuilt my confidence with horses, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So pull up a chair and let's dive in. So back in the day, when I first got started with horses, I always felt like I was behind everyone else. I always felt like I was the bottom of the class. And I had gone down the usual horsey route of a horse girl in the UK who wants to work with college. So with horses. Oh my God, this is going well. So I went to horsey college. I then worked as a working pupil. And the whole time that this was going on, I always felt like everyone else was better than me. And I got in my head about this in a really big way. And it really started to hold me back and it really spiraled as this went on. And as a result of this, it got to a point where I just kept falling off. And I fell off way more times than I can count. It was really embarrassing. It added a lot of shame to, the lack of confidence I already had. And I got to the point where I felt like I just didn't even deserve to be around horses because this just kept happening. And I just felt like, God, any horse that has to spend any time with me must think, oh my God, what's going on? Because I was just no good. That's what I felt like. I felt like a failure. I was desperate to fit in and to be as good as everyone else and as brave as everyone else. But I just always felt like I was swimming against the tide. It just felt so impossible. And every time I saddled up, I was filled with nerves. I had that horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach and it really affected the ride and ruined every ride that I had, to be honest. And I believed in order to be successful with horses that I had to be like everyone else and I had to do what everyone else was doing. So I thought that I had to be able to jump the highest and ride the spiciest horses and get every horse that I rode on the bit immediately because it was all about that back then. And I thought, right, I've got to do my BHS exams and I've got to pass them with flying colours because if I don't, then who am I? Like, if I need to do all of that to truly be a capable horse person and to be confident in myself as a result. And I kept hitting brick wall after brick wall. Surprise, surprise. Every time I rode, I was filled with nerves. And I believed that I would fall off and I believed that I wasn't good enough and I believed that I couldn't do anything properly. And so then guess what happened? Because I had all of those beliefs, I fell off. I couldn't do the things. I didn't make progress and I could not concentrate or problem solve or learn or grow because when I rode, I was always in survival mode. I was always riding protectively. I was unable to listen or make progress because my brain was in survival mode. And it got so bad that it got to the point where I was like, do you know what? I just need to give horses up. I need to pack it all in and give up and do something else because this is not working. And it was devastating because I still do love horses. And I wasn't good enough to work with them because I kept failing as far as I was concerned. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I was constantly getting injured. And the last straw for me was hearing my boss talking about me to a client and joking about my abilities or lack thereof in the saddle. And that was devastating. Um, and, I had my world was so small then that I thought, if I can't make it in this place, I can't make it, you know? If I can't be like everyone else, then why am I bothering? But luckily, or fortuitously, everything changed because I moved back up north and I saw a job advert that was a bit of a random one because it was at a Western yard. But because it was random, I was intrigued and I ended up accepting a job there. And my eyes were totally opened to a completely different world of horses that I didn't even know existed. Um, and a different way of doing things, a different way of learning, a different way of being taught. And suddenly, everything changed. Suddenly, I started making progress. Suddenly, I was getting better and more confident in myself and growing and learning and enjoying life again. And then fast forward from that 8 years, I was in a totally different place. I was riding, competing, teaching, and training, and I lived and breathed Western riding and quarter horses. And my confidence was in a totally different place. However, it kind of shifted. I was still seeking outside validation all the time. I still desperately worried about what everyone else thought, including the horses. And I still didn't think that I was good enough or enough in general. And this would come back and bite me in the arse later. I look back now and I can see the signs. But yeah, it would come back and get me because the lack of confidence had kind of shifted from one place to another. And I'd got to a point, I'd been at this place 8 years and I loved it, but it was time for a change. And so I did something totally terrifying, but also amazing, which I talked about in that 2016 episode. I left my job, which at the time was my life. So it was scary to do, but I spent the next 5 years after that back and forth from the UK. I worked across 3 different I don't know, I can never say this bit. In the 3 times I've recorded this, I've not been able to say this bit. 3 different continents with a mission to learn as much as I could about horsemanship and horse training. I wanted to really refine everything and be able to help horses to the best of my ability. And so I went to Canada a couple of times, Australia a couple of times, America a couple of times, and Switzerland. And yeah, learned as much as I could and had the most amazing time. I had amazing adventures, opportunities, worked with incredible people and incredible horses, and had experiences that I will treasure forever. There's no doubt about it. And then I returned to the UK and I was all fired up and I was ready to launch my own business and coach people and train horses and share all of this knowledge that I'd spent years and plenty of money on learning. And then guess what? COVID hit. And that is where I learned that there is nothing quite like launching your own business for showing you where your confidence is lacking. So that little shift in the lack of confidence department, it moved to, oh, so you think you can launch your own business? Who do you think you are? And so despite all of the knowledge I'd accumulated, all of the training, all of the experience I now had and had been around gathering, it was clear that I still had major confidence and self-belief issues because it popped up and it bit me on the ass big time. And so really, nothing had changed. It was still there and it was still holding me back. And that, in a COVID classic scenario, kind of started me on a deep dive into mindset, self-development and hypnotherapy. And I really started to learn about myself, about the human mind, and how it works. And And I went for my first hypnotherapy session. And when I say that hypnotherapy changed my life, it sounds dramatic, but it's true. It really did. Um, so I went for my first session and I couldn't believe the change in me afterwards as a result. It blew me away. And, having done a load of the self development stuff that I'd already done, it was clear to me that I needed to learn more to help myself, but also to start helping other people that had been in my shoes. So I enrolled in a course to train in hypnotherapy, which then kind of evolved into learning about NLP and EFT and loads of other stuff. Um, because I really wanted to, I'd done the horsemanship side of things and learn as much as I could at that point there. And now I wanted to learn more about the mindset so that I could tie the two together. Um, and boy, oh boy, that was where the magic happened because suddenly I could see everything, everyone, and my approach to working and training with horses totally differently. It changed the way I helped lesson clients and how I helped them train and ride their horses. And the results were just insane when you combined the two. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. And it changed how I showed up, it changed how I felt, and how every horse that I worked with felt and progressed through their training. Because through applying this magical combination of mindset and nervous system work, and then better understanding the horse's needs too, like crazy things were happening in training, and I couldn't keep this to myself anymore. So that's where I started then filtering it into lessons and training even more, and helped people understand all of this stuff. And in doing so, that then empowered them to help their own horses too. And so that's where the Enlightened Equestrian program was built and then launched. Once I'd qualified in hypnotherapy, I put all of that together and launched it so that I could help a wider audience and I could bind the two, combine the two into a program. And that then saw results of all of these years of work help change horse owners' lives in just 12 weeks. And these horsewomen were going from where I had been, from wanting to just give it all up, to actually truly enjoying their horses again and feeling confident in their lives with their horses. But not only that, this was then starting to ripple out and it was changing their careers and it was changing their home life too. Like it was transformative and it was amazing to see and witness. And, I still see it today and I just love it. And when I look back now to that younger version of me, that 20-year-old me that felt totally undeserving of even being around horses anymore because God, they must hate me because I'm so shit. I am so, so thankful that I didn't give up. I am so thankful that I made changes where I needed to, that I said yes to adventures and opportunities, that I was brave enough ultimately to look at myself and understand that I needed help because I didn't want to live the rest of my life not believing in myself. I didn't want to live the rest of my life holding myself back like I was because things weren't changing. It was coming back all the time and getting me. And admitting that, looking at myself and admitting it to myself and then admitting it to others and getting help, it's not easy, but it's necessary if you actually want to make change. And looking at those dark parts of myself that were popping up, that wasn't easy either. But you've got to do it. You've got to confront them and it will change your life. And it changed mine and it had the most incredible results. And then I look at myself now, that person that felt like they didn't deserve to be around horses and should just give up to now podcast oh God, I can't speak anymore. Podcast host, published author, clinician. I've written articles for magazines and I've helped guide horse people, in the realm of horsemanship and mindset around the world. 20-year-old me and even the versions in between would not believe that I'm doing that now. She'd think, who do you think you are to do that? Like, who said you can do that? You don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skill, you don't have who do you think you are? And I tell you who I am. I'm someone who has been in the trenches and done the work. I'm someone who has paid tens of thousands on flights, on training, on courses, on qualifications to get to where I am now. And so I can fully stand in who I am now and say, I deserve to be here and I should be here. And I'm bloody passionate about it too. And it is my honor to help people do this. My honor to help them make these changes in a considerably shorter period of time than it took me. It's taken me 20 years and I can now help people in 12 weeks, or if you do recalibrate, in a month. Obviously, it's not quite the transformation that Enlightened Equestrian program is, but it's still pretty bloody good. So fraction of the time, and let me tell you, a fraction of the price as well. And I just can't tell you how much I love helping people do this. And all of that is to say, I've been there. I know how it feels to just want to give up. And I know what it is to desperately wish that I could just be like everyone else. That, to compare myself, to judge the living shit out of myself, to shit my pants where I'm about to ride, to fall off and think, right, that's it, I'm done. What's the point? I know. I've burst into tears on multiple occasions because of that. And the thing is, I also know what it's like to turn that around. I also know that I understand myself now. I understand the horses I work with, and I know how to connect to that magic of shifting your mindset so that you actually feel capable and empowered in everything you do. And this isn't about being arrogant. This isn't about showing up and being like, oh, I've got this. It's about doing the thing and just thinking, you know what? I've got this. And that's all it is. And that is why I specialize in helping horse people reconnect to their most confident, grounded, and badass selves. That is why I'm so passionate about it. And it's been my life's work, basically, up to now, has been building up to this point and helping people and doing it from a place of just total bloody passion, and wanting to help people get there because I know what it feels like. It's friggin' devastating. And to turn it around is amazing. And so that leads me very nicely into saying that, look, we're heading into spring now. And if you are ready to head into those longer days and warmer weather and sun and butterflies and flowers and buzzing bees and singing birds with your horse, finally and actually feeling confident, pop me an email or DM me on the socials at the Horsemanship and Mindset Coach saying ready or wanting to chat. And we can look at making that happen because the time for change is now. This is the first step towards you finally making it happen because you deserve to actually enjoy your goddamn horse. God knows you spend enough on them, energy, time, money, all those winters trudging through the mud. Like, you deserve to actually enjoy your time together. And here's to taking your head out of the sand and actually enjoying them. So if you are feeling that, I'm sending you all the love. If you've got to the end of this episode and you've enjoyed this little story, I'm so glad. And if you are ready to work with me, get in touch. There's a couple of different ways that I can help you, various different packages at different price points and levels of commitment, all designed especially for equestrians, from a qualified hypnotherapist and mindset coach, from someone who's spent the last 20 years in the trenches, learning as much as they can about horses. So everything's designed for horse people to help horse people transform everything. So yeah, get in touch because I have a couple of spaces and I'd love to help you. So yeah, that's all from me. Here's hoping when I press stop recording that this actually saves, or I will lose my mind. I will see you in another episode next week. Over and out.